Hello everyone, I'm Zubin. I'm going to speak about Sustainable Development Goal number 1, which is no poverty and how it is related to a climate resilient society. Now I would like you to indulge me for a minute. Please close your eyes and I would like you to imagine along with me. Now imagine that it's been raining heavily for 2 days now. The rivers are full. They're around the danger mark. But you live in a part of the world where the infrastructure is good, it's a safe world, and life comes back to normal in a few days. Now imagine the same situation in a different part of the world. The infrastructure there is not good. The rivers are full with water, and unfortunately an embankment breaks. There are terrible floods. You lose your home. As a farmer, you lose your standing crops. As a fisherman, you lose your boat, your livelihood. Now, please open your eyes again for me. I would like to ask you, what do you think is scenario 1? Which country could it be? Could you guess? Maybe something like Netherlands, Germany, maybe the US? And how about scenario 2? What kind of world is that? Is it likely to be a developing country, maybe somewhere in Africa, in South Asia, India, Bangladesh? The second scenario where the infrastructure is bad, there's a terrible flood. Yeah. So that is what I mean with a climate resilient society. Now, scenario 1 where the infrastructure is good and it is safe to be there even when there is a climate disaster. So that's a climate resilient society, that you don't suffer because of such climate disasters. But unfortunately, for poorer parts of the world, for poorer people, such climate disasters can be disastrous. Now, 3/4 of the poor people in the world, they depend on agriculture and on nature for their livelihoods. So that makes them even more vulnerable to such climate disasters. What also happens is that reconstruction after such a disaster is more difficult because there is no infrastructure. The governments there are not so much capable. And also another facet of this story is that these kind of disasters can also push people, so not so poor people, they can be pushed into poverty because of loss of livelihoods or homes because of such disasters. So poverty is the biggest problem against climate resilience. Now, fortunately for us, poverty has been declining. So according to the United Nations, which defines extreme poverty as having an income of less than $1.90 per day per person. So in the rate of extreme poverty has fallen drastically. Now in the year 2000, it was 27% of the world was under extreme poverty. Fortunately, in 2017, the number has declined to 9%. So that is good news for us. So becoming rich together is the first thing that we can do to becoming a more climate resilient world. But it's a big challenge. There are still 750 million people in the world who live in extreme poverty. And as the climate is changing, more such floods, more droughts can happen, and which can also push people towards poverty. Now, what can we do about it? I think sustainability is the biggest challenge that we face in our times now, and we all need to come together to bring forward solutions that can make the world more sustainable, more climate resilient. The first thing that we can do is becoming more aware ourselves, making people around us more aware of sustainability. But we all also need to come together and as a society. So we all have our different skills and expertise. We may be working in a particular sector or industry, but we can try to make that sector or industry more sustainable. But also we need to come together as a society and form a community so that we can share our knowledge and experience together to bring a more sustainable and climate resilient world to be possible. We are starting such a community, such a sustainable meetup here in Eindhoven. If you are in Eindhoven and you are interested in sustainability, I would urge you to join us. If you don't live in Eindhoven, I am sure you would find such a community nearby. And if not, I would urge you to start one yourself. Thank you very much.